Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to each of the witnesses for being here today, particularly Mr. Otero and Ms. Bear. Thanks for sharing your story. Appreciate that. Mr. Kiefer, great job today, and you've been asked a lot of questions about what has made your program successful. You've talked about the long-term care mentoring. One of the other things I've noticed is that you're nimble in terms of creating new programs to meet the needs of the kids who come through the program. And I was going to ask you a little bit about that. You also mentioned you have Kenny, your son, here with us today, and you said he's available to ask any questions. So with your permission, I was going to ask you about the program, but I know that Kenny's been through Benchmark and many different programs. I'd love to hear from him. What was that experience like for you? Tell us about. Sure, do that. We'll kick Will out for a minute. You can tell us about how you experienced Benchmark in your life.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, I was first at Benchmark when I was 14, so I was glad I went there when I was 14 because Will became my mentor. I left for a little while at 16, and then I came back on probation. And during that time, as mentioned, I lost my father, my mother, and my brother. And then Will offered to take me in because I had nowhere else to go. And ever since then, he of course adopted me, became my father, and I've just appreciated it so much because the common themes here has been support and guidance, and that's what all foster children need is support and guidance as parents are supposed to offer. And Benchmark has offered that for me countless times, and I've given everything back to Benchmark. Every time I step in there, I help with every break I come back from school, my first thing I do is work at Benchmark, help the kids. I stay in contact with the kids that I help, are in a similar situation than I am. And we just, keep that ping pong conversation back and forth all the time. And I've just loved Benchmark and I support it. And I will, always support Benchmark, donate my money to Benchmark, and also start something just like Benchmark to help children just like me. But there was something I was thinking about. We're talking a lot about like parents and stuff and how, I think that's the main, a part of the problem we should, try to deal with there because, it comes from your parents and our parents' burdens come onto us, just like making it a policy, moving forward, something we could do is, get parents help with knowing how to take care of children and, support them and move forward because, that's really where it all starts is our parents. But Benchmark has helped with many kids and I see it every day. I'm so grateful to be able to go back and have, of course, have Will as my father now, but it makes me a bit emotional knowing that, this is how far we've come and I'm very proud of him and everything he does there. And thank you.
Well, thanks for sharing, Kenny. I very much appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you so much. Wonderful story. And Mr. Kiefer, any additional things you'd like to say about Benchmark and the programs? I know you have a number of different programs, as I had mentioned. Any other particular things you'd like to highlight?
Thanks, Congressman Smucker. The only other thing I'll add is that we generally throw programs to kids knowing that they are wonderful resources for them. But if those programs don't connect to each other, I think we're doing a disservice to the kids who are in them because we're setting them up for these short-term engagements that are very positive, but then systematically don't offer a long-term. So again, from the minute that a kid is housed in our local Lancaster County Intervention Center for a delinquency issue or a dependency issue, they can get a Benchmark mentor. And we'll just begin by showing up at court, seeing them weekly in the detention center, and walking them the whole way through. If it's delinquency, the whole way through their time on probation. If it's dependency.
I know you're also focused on jobs now, and then maybe that's a new focus for you, or you're increasing your focus on that. Tell us a little bit about what you're finding, the support from the community, what is working, what's not with that.
We found, interestingly, as Mr. Evans brought up, that peer mentorship, offering a job to a young person who's succeeded in our program to serve as a peer mentor is wonderful, to give back, but also builds their resume in a huge way. And then as we bring community members in who work in businesses in the community, they see these individuals. They get to know them. They look at their resume and say, geez, you've worked at Benchmark for 2 years. I'd love to talk to you about working here at my business. And we've seen that to be a very effective step-by-step through our program, through working on our program, to getting a job elsewhere.
Well, thanks again for being here. Our community is very fortunate to have you there. Appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you.